And it's a journey. And I want to talk to you today about culture. But culture is a very simple thing if we understand the process we're going through. And so, I know we've got millennials in here, but I know we've got Gen Z as well. 21-year-old director. What an awesome job, and what an awesome job Sasha did. I learn every time this young man speaks. I'm just at the age now, I can't sit down like he does because I need help getting up. Anyway, I want to, for those who, I want you to now just go on a journey with me. You know, today we live in such a currency of speed and instant. And when I grew up, taking pictures was slightly different. Anyone remember the old Polaroid?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Only if you have. Some of you are looking at someone and go, a Polaroid. What's a Polaroid? And I did want to get some props today, but I didn't have time to get it, so I had to get a picture. Okay, that's a Polaroid. When you took a picture, you heard, and you were just full of anticipation. You grabbed pick up that picture, and you started trying it. You started to try to force the process. And slowly the image started forming. The image was always there. It just took time to reveal itself. Now, if you remember the Polaroid, I go back even further. I go back where you had to put film in the camera. A 35 millimeter real film. And some of you are going like that, because you remember being on your grandparents' lap, right? So I sat, you used to put the film in, and then waving it for like 3 minutes. Some of you are going, 3 minutes? That's an eternity. Today I can snap, I can tag, I can filter, and post. Your pictures are instant. We had to wait for ours, and then before that, we used to have to take it out the camera, and then we would need to walk to a pharmacy where we left it for 3 days. And we had to pray we didn't have pictures of our foot 29 times. We didn't even know what was going to come back. And I think culture's the same. I think today we live in such an instant gratification with social media. Yes, Instagram. Yes, Facebook. Go build. I heard Marco talk about it one time. Go find, but get them offline as quickly as possible. And build relationships. And I think culture in network marketing, culture within One Mondo, is like the dark room of developing photos. That's what you heard up here today. People that are in the process. People that are starting their journey. The Zinab story didn't know more than 6 people. Now is raising powerful female leaders. Hearing stories that use an expletive on stage because she hasn't forgot a word that she can replace it with. Called communication. True? So I believe in Zina, today in the instant gratification mindset, we seek recognition, we seek authority, we seek teaching before we've been processed. Before we've been processed. And I remember going to Marco 6.5 years ago, 51 broke on government benefits, feeding my daughter from a food bank, and asking Marco, what do you do? How do you do it? And he introduced me to a culture of me, and if you know this, follow with me and say it. Me, we. See, the culture's not duplicated. He told me about me, we, you. I'll do it with you. We'll do it together. We'll switch that up and we'll still do it together. Then you do it and I'll critique you. Do you think you can do that instantaneously? Or do you think that's in the dark room? Do you think that when you're developing a picture, the image yet not seen, it has to go through 9 chemical processes? But we see, we get our pack, and as leaders, you're the leaders of One Mondo. When we get new people in, signing someone up is when our work starts. Our relationship starts. And by the way, they're the only 2 slides I've got today. Because Marco messaged me. Richie said, take them off. And I'm sitting here watching, not the Forrest Gump, but I'm watching everybody else with like 10, 15. I counted Marco's slides because he went to double figures. So I could go, well, you had 10 slides. Why can't I have 10 slides? Because Marco knows even if I had a slide, I don't follow them. So he's trying to save me time. So that process of me, you got me into an understanding that at 51 years young, I had age, and I needed it now. Broke, feeding my daughter from a food bank, I needed it now, but I couldn't attract, and I love that from Marco today, attraction. The problem with attraction marketing, and most attraction marketers aren't taking action. That was my takeaway from the moment. And I started to realize that although I needed it now, I wasn't ready for it now. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been in the position I was in. And so when I started to understand, One Mondo became a place, and we heard Zina talk about it now. It was a place to be safe. It's a place where I could be vulnerable. It was a place where I could maybe say the wrong things, and Marco will refine me. And he's continually to refine me. Because what? I'm still in the dark room. I'm still in the dark room. Why? Because I'm not a president yet. And so if we're not where we want to be, consider ourselves that we're in the dark room. And so what is that process that we need to go through? What are the 9 steps? And by the way, if I start steaming up, let me know. When I can't start seeing you, I know I'm steaming up. So, do you like them, by the way? I haven't paid for them yet. I was waiting for you to agree. I'll pay for them now. They wouldn't let me leave without paying for them. So when Marco put me in this process, the other thing is, and congratulations to all you team members that have found a home in One Mondo. Because I was one of those people. I've been in 3 businesses before. I was a young man. In my first company. I was caught up in the momentum of that big company who are the #1 today. They went to $1 billion while I was there. You couldn't say the wrong thing. You could not do the wrong thing and still grow. The challenge was, I thought I was the reason I was growing. I thought it was me. I thought it was I'm the reason I'm growing. I got a rank. You know what? Eric Meisel said to everyone in this room this morning, leave now. I'm talking to Dave Ives. Did anyone feel that? Was that like, are you talking to me? Sitting there watching people walk stage that I think, how do they even put 2 words together? And they were higher rank. No, that's not them. That's me. Another thing I learned from Marco today, that used to trigger me. And I'd go to Marco. I'd never do it in public. Why? Culturally, you don't take anything to public. You take it to your sponsor or your upline. I listen to people in corridors, at events. I hear people at meetings talking negatively, talking about the room, talking about this, and you're going, my Lord. Leadership is about know what to say, when to say it, and when to address it. True? I never tell a lie. I'm better at never arguing in front of our children. Why? It's a culture. It's an example. And One Mondo has created a culture where the dark room is a safe place for us to grow. But not by telling us. The reason I partnered with Marco Passanante, well, I didn't know what he was making. I didn't know what he was doing. What I knew about him is he was going somewhere, and I believed when he said, I will have your back. And in 6.5 years, he's never not been there beholding us up. Not once. So that's culture. That's culture, but the culture's been created by an example. One of the best examples I've ever seen, and you can apply culture, by the way, you can apply to anything. I mean, men, I don't see a lot of men today opening doors for their partners. And my very first mentor, I never had a father, so I didn't know what a car was. We never had a car. So having a car was like, that was rich. And I definitely didn't have a father who knew how to treat a woman. So how was I going to teach? How was I going to learn how to edify a woman? How was I going to learn to treat a woman like a woman? How was I going to be protective? Right, because I came from a rugby background where we spoke about women. Differently. And so my first mentor would go over to America, invite me to a meeting, and we would say it's time to go to the meeting, and he'd rush out and start the engine, and make sure the car was cool enough and air-conned, and walk around and take the door. And when we get to the venue, he would jump out, walk around. Now, she got used to it, so I think in the very beginning, remember the trigger, I'm thinking, what does she get out of the car? Was she waiting for him? But she understood the culture of a marriage, that he wanted to serve her because he valued her. And that's how I feel in Wamondo. It's not a job to come up here and speak. It's an honor. It's because we're serving. Because the culture is if you serve others, they'll serve you. Now, challenge is, sometimes we want it in our time frame and not when it's right time. Because that's immaturity. And I think today's society, even the youth today, and by the way, that graph of the demographic, demographic that you had, I was in the second to last column. Oh, trust me guys, the time flies. 58 this year. But I tell you what, I feel more alive today than I was at 19. Why? Because my vision hasn't changed, but I most definitely know where I'm going and how I'm getting there. Before, it was a vision, but it was attached to hope. Today, my vision is attached to knowing. Why? Because for the last 6 years, I've been in a culture where I turned up every week on a team call. Not when I felt like it, not when it was convenient. I turned up because somebody was willing to put on a call for the culture of the team to grow, that I wanted to learn more, but I valued what that person was willing to do for us as a community, so that was called, ready? Respect. It was called respect. Oh, I'm glad I took my slides.
Back.
Good. Because today, as you build your team, they just want to know what's in it for them. And the only reason they're going to stay thinking that way is, are we, the leaders, acting the way we should? Are we developing? Because each year, if we haven't grown from the year before, but we are here in Wamondo, the 6th to the 7th of 2027, and we turn up the same person, then 12 months has been a waste of time. Now, it doesn't mean you've rank advanced, but your team numbers could have. I didn't rank advance. We didn't rank advance last year. Was I sucking my thumb? And I went to Marco. It was great applauding all the new presidents. No, kidding. Kidding! I'm over it. I am. I spoke to Mike on the boat yesterday, didn't I? I spoke with him on the yacht. If I wasn't over it, I would have. No. Honor. Then Sasha comes flying through. Look, it removes the excuses of why not, as Eric said. Or as, his wife's name? Melina. Melina said, what? Marina, sorry, beg your pardon. Why not? Okay, why not? Is this not my and my wife's and our organisation's year? Woo! Because the culture's right. If we plug into the culture, you know, the reason why I think culture takes a while to actually grow and duplicate is because of that society where we are instant gratified. So we get in and we think we know it all. We're independent. I know I have talked about independent, but some people are too independent, doing the wrong things. Now, independent takes maturity. Independent means codependent. So if I've got something going on, because we have got something going on, but my upline's putting something on, he comes first. Because if I don't show up to what my culture says, then my team starts doing the same thing because I'm the example. An example isn't the only thing, it's everything.
Yep.
Oh, I got my own team call. Oh, my upline's got a team call and I've known him for 6 years, so why would I put my own on at the same time? That's culture. I've got a business meeting. Great, if there's a bigger business meeting, plug into the meeting. You know why? Because numbers build numbers. Social proof. Now you may have family commitments. You may have life-challenging circumstances. And I've seen more people in life-challenging circumstances still jump on a Zoom, mute out, turn their camera off, because they got a guest on. They may be really ill, but they showed up so their name showed. Because when that prospect shows up, it's better to have 200 people on a Zoom than 2.
Yep.
That's a culture. And so when I watched Barry, going back to Barry, as I watched Barry treat his wife the way he did, and I try to do that to my first girlfriend in front of my friends, that I'd been drinking 10 pints of Guinness after a game of rugby, and we didn't need to worry about smellies. There was something, for those who there was something about Reljex. That doesn't translate. Okay. That's a painkiller spray. And it's got a unique smell. And we used to put it in some of our friends' jock straps and let them put it on. See, some of you, that's not translating, but okay. It was painful. But that's how we got our kids male to male. But I realized as I started getting to network marketing at the age of 21, that was an era for me back in '92 where I thought I knew it all. And at 30 years later, when I joined Marco, I found myself in that position. But this time, I acted like I knew it all, but I was scared because I knew I didn't. But I didn't want to let people know. I didn't want to let people know how vulnerable I was. I didn't want to look stupid by asking. I didn't want to feel that I needed to be shown. 51 for goodness sake. Married, 3 children, 4 children. Forgot one. I was thinking of my grandchildren. I know you're thinking, you don't look at those glasses. Yes, I've got 3 grandchildren too. But when Marco started plugging me in and showing up consistently and put me into that environment they call fertile ground, a culture of tools and resources, but minimizing it and simplifying it. And I came along and I thought if I could just make it complicated. Why? Because ego is a powerful thing in culture. And if those are afraid, ego means edge God out. And I realized I thought I was the man. And there was me feeding my daughter from a food bank. And culture requires humility. Because growth requires time. We're all on a journey. And we're all in the One Mondo development room. Now, within that development room, there's other people that understand how to process. So they've got their organizations, but we come under the umbrella of One Mondo. And Marco is the only, second man in my life that has been so consistent and the truest to every word he speaks. Passamante, I'm a guest. There's a room 10 years ago. He's still like that. He's still like that if he takes you to a restaurant. He's still like that when he gets you a room. Not for him now, because he wants you to be looked after. He wants you to experience the best. He wants a table where he doesn't have to have his back against the wall. He wants to see who's coming in. He wants you to experience how your life can be if you're willing to develop yourself in the One Mondo culture. Where we go? If anything is more important, it's culture. And this is a room of leaders. That's the best I've heard Eric Worre ever speak. And I've had the honour, because of Marco, to sit in front of him 3 times live. And his message is consistent. See, when you've got culture, you can grow from A to B. You can become a better version of yourself. But you don't come off message. Because the message is culture. And that is, we become the best team in Zinzina. We are going to be the biggest team in the industry. We are going to be 10 million plus. So every night, it doesn't matter if he's now, culture is, ready for this, write this one down. Culture is, when the leader leaves a room, we do exactly that he would have done. Yes. That's culture. And if you find yourself like me, diluting it, because I didn't like his style. His style has nothing to do with culture. His words and actions and example do. Culture is everything. So, I'm going to ask you, 2026, leaders who say they're leaders carry culture. They become the carriers of culture. They become the example. If there's a campaign, they run for the campaign. If there's a campaign, they're talking about the campaign. If there's a trip, they're on the trip. They will do whatever it takes to be there. And I'll tell you, talk about stories. What a great training on storytelling, wasn't that? Yeah. That was phenomenal. But when you get to a director trip, when you get to an ambassador trip, the stories aren't sexy. The stories aren't glamorous. They're painful. But the victory is sweet. And when you get on a trip, you know you've been willing to stay in the dark room. Now, by the way, as I wrap this up, a dark room doesn't mean you just sit there. A dark room means you take action on yourself. Read a book or 2 a month. Listen to Go Core. Be an example. If an upline's in town, get around the Michaels. And if Michael's talking, then you listen. If you go to Michael, if you go to Zinab, if you go to your leaders, if you go to Daniela, if you go to your leaders in the room for advice, talk less. Culture is, how can you learn culture if you're talking all the time and you're not listening? As a group of leaders, give your team of support, the people that you trust and respect, the permission to speak into your life. You'll see the difference culture will have in your life. Don't be a solopreneur. Independent. So independent, you're actually missing culture. I'm thankful for Marco Passanante. He transformed my life. But I'm telling you, you haven't seen nothing yet from Dave Ives. Watch out.